It is true, what many of you have heard.
About us, the Archer players.
Hello.
The
Archer haters.
have gathered an army, and as I speak, that army is...
Crying about Archer players everywhere.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first...
Mute our chat and carry these whiny nerds.
Hit your days short. Jesus Christ. Please.
Hey, did you know that nearly everything in the game is immune to paralyze? Nerd!
I stand here before you now, truthfully, unafraid. Why? Because I...
Accept the hate.
No! I stand here without fear because I remember. I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these...
Archer haters.
I remember that for 100 years...
We have carried in realm.
And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are...
Carrying these nerds through realm of the mad god. Oh no!
Hey everyone, it's Solz here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Archer class. It's an amazing class, and it can be powerful in just about anyone's hands. It takes skill, timing, dodging, and if you want to be successful with it, whether it's getting loot or staying alive, that's what you got to do. We're going to be reviewing the bow, armor, quiver, and ring for today, as well as maybe an ST set. We'll see how we go, and as well as a few tips and tricks for the class. Now, I realize I haven't really been giving that much fan service in my sort of videos, so I'm going to include maybe a few funny moments, and let me know how you feel about those. Alright, thank you, and enjoy the video. Bows are shared between archers, huntresses, and bards. They have a pretty good range at the cost of not having particularly large damage output, like none, basically, at all. Multi-shot bows possess an arc gap that increases the spray of arrows, dealing less damage at the cost of shorter true range. Make sure that when you're standing on top, you can actually do quite a lot of damage at the risk of dying. All tier bows have a shot count between 1 to 3, unless otherwise stated, with a range usually to 7 to 7.5 tiles, and shots that hit multiple targets. Now hear me when I say you actually get quite a lot of different types of bows. You've got the main predator bow, which is amazing for damage. When sitting on top, you can deal the most amount. It makes archer, as well as huntress and bard, very well valued. You've got the void bow, which is the next highest damage. You just got to make sure you hit every hit with a slight odd of arc there. And then you've got the leaf bow, third in the top there, as well as harp going along to ST bows. The nectar crossfire, which fires at a really weird projectile spacing. You can go ahead and actually rearrange these, I believe, when you go something like that, or invert the shots, for example. You can see that the shot pattern sort of changed, and you can come along into what I've got here is a reskin Begania bow, which actually ignores defense, uncharacteristic Coral bow, which is a small little arc there from the old timers, and going into our 3 arc bow, which means you have to sit on top to deal all 3, as well as our 1000 shot bow to our clover bow. Oh, pretty cool bows. I think I'm all bowed out, so yeah, I'm gonna move on to quivers.
Dude, check out what came for you in the mail.
Oh yeah! What is it?
And finally, we have Archer's ability, basically an arrow to the face, the quiver. We have different variations of the quiver. We have the daze quiver, we have the piercing quiver, we have the see you later bro quiver, and we also have the slow quiver, as well as the give me more attack bro. If there is everything right with the Archer, there's definitely something that's wrong, and I think that's the bow. I don't think it's the quiver that lets them down, where they get all the additional bonuses and slows and all the different effects, because slowing is one of your tier 0 abilities, and that's pretty important. Although it is really hard to aim, and it takes a lot of practice, it's something you have to be accurate for, and that's all part of RotMG, is getting better and growing. So I don't think it's their ability, I actually think it's the bow that lets them down, and a lot of people might argue with that, but that's okay. Tips and tricks for Quiver? Just get used to aiming at things and predicting their movements because a lot of enemies can be quite sporadic, and although a lot of them are immune to paralyze and sometimes daze and sometimes slow and oh shit, that's everything. If they aren't immune to any of these, go ahead and just predict their movements. It's probably the easiest way to go, and get used to using Void Quiver once you get it, because it's the best thing for damage. Armour Rings. To be honest with you, I would definitely say that you want to go ahead and try and find the red skirt immediately. The red skirt for Archer is amazing. I believe it's called Tene, off the top of my head. I always just call it the red skirt. Otherwise, Centaurs is probably the best way to go. If you're looking for things for survivability, Leaf Hide is a very lethal one. And if you want to do shatters, you can go ahead and get yourself the Vested Shadows, which is another one. In terms of staying alive and having a decent set, I would definitely just recommend any of the higher tiered armors along the whole way, unless you really want to fall it back like old school and use the Coral Silk armor and the Spectral Sentry, I believe it is called. In terms of ring, I would definitely recommend something that gives you a lot of dexterity and attack, mostly the parts that Archer falls weak on, which is damage. You'd probably want to go for Crown, Coronation, maybe even sometimes a UB Dex if you're really desperate. Otherwise, just go for survivability, which is pretty much always crucial anyway. Is a little bit of health, maybe a little bit of defense if you really want to. And finally, this brings us on to ST sets. Now, to tell you the truth, I'm only going to review one of the ST sets, and more or less because I don't have the Valentine's set, which is a special edition set that takes place over Valentine's, and actually is really good. I've died with it, and it feels kind of horrifying to go back and look at it. The ST set that I'm going to go over today is the Ghostly Archer, with the first set item being the Deathless Crossbow. The Deathless Crossbow is actually really good. It used to be so overpowered it was ridiculous, but Deco unfortunately took control of that and made sure that it wasn't anymore. The Speedy Quiver is amazing. You can just basically dip out of everything. If you have a moment and you want to be like a warrior, for example, and speedy out of it, you can do that. If you get caught by Oryx and you want to jump out of that, you can do that too. It's basically the all-rounder quiver for almost everything, and not only that, but it actually does a radial outburst of slow shots, so everything around you is like, fuck you, and you basically fuck off and you're gone. Yeah, alright, cool. I feel like that was a very elaborate explanation of the quiver, but yeah, just basically use that shit. The armor is really good for survivability, gives you that HP that you so desire, plus defense as well. And the ring, well, every ST set just basically has a crap ring for some reason, but this ring is actually not bad either. Combined, the set actually gives you a really nice skin as well, giving you that grey and bluish look. Alright, I'm going to throw the outro there. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I hope this guide was somewhat useful, and the video itself wasn't as boring as the rest of it. I'm going to leave a link checking out the last Life of an RTMG player video. I really recommend you check that out. They're kind of entertaining. What can I say? Some of you might have even seen it before. So without further ado, I'm going to log that in, and I'll catch you in the next video.